The CEO picked up a single dad's wallet, then saw her mother's secret photo inside. Part 1. The leather wallet lay on the polished sidewalk just outside the towering glass headquarters, forgotten in the rush of another ordinary morning. Hundreds of people walked past it without a second glance, but one woman stopped. She bent down, picked it up, and prepared to hand it to security. Then, as she searched for an identification card, an old, faded photograph slipped into her hand. The moment her eyes landed on that picture, her entire world froze. It was a smiling young woman she had not seen in more than 25 years. It was her mother. But the man standing beside her in that photograph was not the father she had grown up believing she knew. Suddenly, the successful CEO who had spent her life building an empire realized that the answers to a lifetime of painful questions might be hidden inside the wallet of a struggling single father. Before this unbelievable story continues, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Echo Tales Story if you believe that kindness and second chances can change lives forever. Your support helps us bring more emotional stories that touch the heart. Every morning, Rowan Mercer followed the same routine. Before sunrise he prepared breakfast for his 7-year-old son, packed his lunch, ironed his tiny school uniform, and reminded himself that no matter how difficult life became, his little boy deserved to smile. Ever since his wife passed away after a sudden illness, Rowan had lived every day carrying 2 responsibilities instead of 1. He worked as a bicycle courier across the busy city streets, earning barely enough to pay rent in a modest apartment, while also trying to become both father and mother to the child who depended on him completely. His clothes were always clean but worn, his shoes showed signs of endless walking, and the lines on his face revealed years of silent sacrifices. Yet every afternoon, no matter how exhausted he felt, he greeted his son with the warmest smile because he refused to let the boy see the weight resting on his shoulders. Across the city stood Orion Global Industries, one of the country's most respected companies. Its young CEO, Serena Ashford, had earned admiration for her intelligence, discipline, and determination. Newspapers described her as fearless, investors trusted every decision she made, and employees respected her unwavering standards. But behind the confident public image lived a woman carrying an emptiness that success had never filled. Her mother had passed away when Serena was only 16, leaving behind countless unanswered questions. Her father avoided speaking about the past, insisting that some memories were better left forgotten. As years passed, Serena buried herself in work, believing achievement would silence the loneliness she carried. It never did. That bright morning, as Serena stepped from her car toward the headquarters, she noticed the wallet resting near the entrance. She assumed it belonged to one of the many employees rushing into work. Without hesitation she picked it up, intending to return it before the owner even realized it was missing. Inside were a few folded bills, a worn identification card, several receipts, and one carefully protected photograph tucked inside a transparent sleeve. It was obvious the picture meant far more than the money. The photograph showed a young woman laughing beneath the branches of a flowering tree while standing beside a smiling young man. Between them rested a tiny baby wrapped in a white blanket. Serena instantly recognized the woman. Although decades had passed, those gentle eyes, soft smile, and small birthmark near her cheek could belong to no one else. It was unquestionably her mother during her youth. Serena's heart pounded so loudly she could barely hear the traffic surrounding her. How could her mother's photograph be inside the wallet of a stranger? Why had she never seen this picture before? And who was the man standing beside her? She immediately asked security to locate the wallet's owner using the identification card. Within minutes, cameras revealed a tired-looking courier desperately retracing his steps outside the building, searching every corner with growing panic. Rowan had already realized what losing his wallet meant. His rent money, identification, and the only photograph connecting his son to happier days were all inside it. He searched every sidewalk crack, every bench, and every flower bed, praying someone honest had found it before it disappeared forever. Watching the security footage, Serena noticed something unexpected. The exhausted father was not worried about the money first. Again and again, he reached toward his empty pocket with heartbreaking desperation before looking at a small framed picture on his phone, as though silently apologizing to someone. There was something deeply genuine about his fear, something impossible to fake. Moments later, Rowan entered the lobby after security informed him his wallet had been found. Relief flooded his face the instant Serena placed it into his trembling hands. Before opening it, he carefully held it against his chest for several seconds, grateful beyond words. Only after confirming that the old photograph remained safely inside did tears quietly gather in his eyes. Serena could not stop staring at the picture. Questions filled her mind faster than reason could answer them. Every memory of her childhood resurfaced. She remembered finding old letters locked inside a wooden box after her mother's funeral, only for her father to quietly burn them before she could read a single page. She remembered overhearing relatives whisper that the past should never be discussed again. She remembered asking why there were so few photographs from her mother's younger years, receiving nothing but uncomfortable silence in return. Now, standing before an ordinary single father, she felt those forgotten mysteries pulling her back into a past she had spent years trying to escape. As Rowan thanked everyone and prepared to leave, Serena noticed the small school timetable tucked inside the wallet beside the photograph. It carried the name of his son written carefully in blue ink, along with a tiny handwritten note reminding Rowan never to miss the afternoon school performance scheduled for Friday. That single detail revealed the kind of father he truly was. Despite endless financial struggles, every important moment in his child's life still came first. For the first time in years, Serena delayed an important board meeting. She quietly instructed her assistant to discover everything possible about Rowan Mercer, not because she distrusted him, but because she needed to understand why the only surviving photograph of her mother had somehow become the most treasured possession of a man she had never met. Deep inside, she sensed that fate had placed the wallet in her hands for a reason, and whatever truth waited ahead had the power to change far more than her own life. If this story is already touching your heart, please like, share, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Your support encourages us to keep bringing meaningful stories every week. Glowing star special comment request: before the ending of this incredible journey, write, "Kindness always finds its way," in the comments if you believe that every good deed returns one day. To be continued in part 2.